Hello everybody and welcome to GEO'S GRAPPLE. It is July the 7th and we are here with episode 3 of the podcast. Now it's starting to get a little bit of a pattern for itself, so I hope you enjoy this show. We've got another guest on here. You may recognise him. I'm not going to give away any spoilers on who it might be. And no, before we go into it, it's not Joe Hendry. Well guys, welcome into episode 3. As you can see on your screens right now, we are joined by the only Scottish guy that we need here on the podcast. He doesn't hold gold and he looks pretty old. It's Logan Fleming, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the show, Logan.
Well, I guess this will be the last time you'd all see me then.
The shirt just turned heel, man. What can I say? What can I say? Also, guys, anyone who does watch the podcast, Logan has a new mic. So, congratulations on Logan's upgrade. He has just evolved as a podcast host. Right, guys, we've had a massive week for WWE, SmackDown, NXT, and Raw. We've had some confirmed matches for SmackDown this week, shall we say, at the time this show going out, and obviously some confirmations for Evolution as well. So, Logan, have a bit of an overview. What do you think of the last 7 days of WWE shows and content?
Yeah, the last 7 days have really, honestly, we kind of last week were like, Raw and SmackDown being the only shows really to kind of talk about. NXT came back, they showed that they have purpose, and really we're taking it back to how it was during the time of Mania. It was the show to watch, so it's really nice to see NXT pushing themselves to be as good as Raw and SmackDown again.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice one. Obviously, we've actually got some notes for NXT this week.
What?
Wow. Joke aside, that's an inside joke between me and Logan. Anyone who watches my streams will know I always defend NXT with just all my heart. I love NXT. I think it's a great show. And I think they did have, like, not last, so excluding last week's NXT, the two prior to that, so the two shows prior to Night of Champions weekend, they were poor, in my opinion. I feel like it's because we got so used to seeing Julia, Stephanie Vakir, Roxanne Perez every week, and they were really bringing the life to the show. And I feel like they just got, obviously we spoke about it in episode 2, they got rid of all three of these names at once, and it kind of just like jolted the system a little bit. But it's back to good. Very good show last week. Wesley, Joe Hendry. We had Inamura versus Jasper Troy for the number one contender for Obafemi's NXT Championship. We're going to get into that later in the show, guys. But let's first of all start off with the first show of the week, Monday Night Raw. Obviously, it had a special time start, 11 p.m. for us in the UK. It was nice. We had a watch-along live on TikTok for it. You guys absolutely loved that. So, Logan, where would you like to start? Let's go. Monday Night Raw. What match and what talking point are we going to start with?
Let's start how the show started perfectly. Judgment Day, winning the titles from the New Day, giving us one of the best moments of the week.
Oh, man. Both of us, I would like to say, especially me on my live stream for the live watch along, the reaction was phenomenal. And I am just going to keep on saying phenomenal because, yeah. But that match was crazy. JD McDonough, let's just say, JD McDonough really stood out in that match, in my opinion. His performance was unreal.
Yeah, JD stole the show in that match. And I do love the fact that he did that springboard moment that injured him last time, obviously.
Still did it.
He moved on to the other side of the ring, so he had all that room to hit it. But JD is one of the best rising stars Raw have got right now.
Oh, 100%.
Good to see him with that title around his waist again.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, and like you said, coming back from an injury, from pretty much the same move, it's so good to see him like come back with the confidence, and if any, like he's got more confidence than before the injury. But yeah, Judgment Day, new tag team champs on Monday Night Raw. Amazing reaction from the WWE Universe and the community, especially in our chat. For the live reaction on Monday was crazy. You guys really, really appreciated that. Moving on, joint with that, Judgment Day They have 5 individual belts. Obviously 2 tag teams and Intercontinental, but 5 belts within the Judgment Day, including the newest member of Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez. She seems to be settling in very, very well with the faction. What are your opinions on Judgment Day holding so much gold yet again?
It's good to see, because we've obviously, there's been ups and downs of Judgment Day. Judgment Day seems to be going back on track to what they are as a brand. And look, the past 2 weeks, yes, Roxanne Perez has not always been a positive talking point for us. But I want to say that he's fit in so well with that team since being given that opportunity. And it works. I don't know why it works, but it works so well, her and Raquel working together. It's the enemies to frenemies kind of story that AJ Lee and Paige did back in the day. That it's a nice wee touch.
I'm glad you brought that reference up, because you know very well, like, I'm not going to get into it because we'll bring it up later on in a question or a topic, because I have been asked a question that I'm going to talk about in this from one of the TikTok videos and the Discord messages. Do you feel like Roxanne Perez is fitting into Judgment Day so well because she has a similar personality to Liv Morgan? Because that's what we're seeing at the moment. She's the confidence, always got that, like, the cheeky little like smile on her face. She's joining in with everything and she's fitting in just as well as Liv Morgan did. Or is she forcing that personality to kind of replace Liv Morgan?
I think it's a bit of both. It's that definite. She has that personality. We've seen it on NXT that she had that personality to kind of fit in with that kind of team. But I feel like she's also forcing it on Dom to kind of replace Liv, which probably will end up backfiring on her when Liv returns.
Definitely. Do you think they'll fight, or do you reckon they'll get along mutually?
I think depending on when Liv returns, it'll be mutual until, because she could return earlier than the Rumble.
Oh, definitely.
And I think, especially with the Rumble being in Saudi again, I mean, Roxanne Perez got one of the best pops ever in Saudi on main event.
Yep. Anyone who doesn't know, Roxanne Perez had a dark match, which was non-televised in Saudi Arabia, and the pop, if you haven't seen, I will either try and put a video in this, or I will link a tweet or something, or a YouTube video giving credit to another creator in the description of this video. So if it's not on the screen right now, guys, there'll be a link below the video for you guys to click on. Pop was mental.
I wish you'd start getting better with every match, Barrett Saxton.
You know what little pride I have left.
And her opponent from Laredo, Texas, Roxanne Perez.
It was a crazy moment for her.
Oh yeah,
Easily.
I mean, she wasn't even on the stage, and the crowd were going crazy.
Yeah, her music hit, and my god, that crowd was crazy. Keeping the pattern here, the link for this chat, shall we say, is Dominic Mysterio. Moving on from Judgment Day, with his Intercontinental Championship around his waist still, and the doctor's note, it's legitimate, guys. It is definitely legitimate. He has an issue with his ribs. Heartbreak. His little Liv ain't there at the moment to look after him, and he's cowering in the corner. AJ Styles still going after Dominic Mysterio, counting down the days for him to be able to get in the ring with Dominic Mysterio. I want it. I know you want it deep down. You really want to see that match. I'm actually getting really, really excited for that match, because I think both characters, both athletes, their in-ring ability is great. And let's do it, because it's about AJ Styles. It's phenomenal. I'm looking forward to that day it happens, but if it happens, or when it happens, where does it happen?
I think SummerSlam is probably the perfect opportunity for that match to happen. Now, we know AJ Styles has just signed a 1-year extension because he is retiring at the end of next year.
Mm-hmm.
So give him, we've talked about this anyway, and it's going to go back to our favourite word on this channel, phenomenal. We want to see the phenomenal final tour.
I'm going to put a tally count throughout this episode, if I've got the time during editing, of how many times we say phenomenal in our podcast. There was another one there, guys. You could say the end count will be phenomenal. But yeah, is AJ Styles the next Intercontinental Champion, or does Dom retain and take this title a lot further than a lot of people would have expected?
Well, I think we were all expecting him, weirdly enough, to have already maybe lost it, just with how booking's going. I mean, Jacob Fatu lost his title.
Yeah, I thought we would have seen Jacob Fatu lose his title or hold it a lot longer than Dom, in my opinion. But,
definitely.
Dom holding it a lot longer. This injury, I feel like the story, I feel like Creative had a story and it's kind of obviously been put on hold because obviously the live injury. But if it happens at SummerSlam, does Dom retain or AJ Styles walk out and new?
I think AJ walks out new champion. So
Reason?
And the only reason I was giggling at the beginning of you talking about this segment is because of what I said in your stream on Monday about AJ Styles when he put the glasses on.
Oh my god, when he put the glasses on. that scene. Adam Pearce with hair. Anyone who doesn't watch the TikTok channel or the lives, guys, we go live 5 days a week, 9 p.m. UK BST. We put on our whole goddamn show within WWE 2K25 via PS5. We have a laugh. You guys love it. Last night, we had pretty much 300 viewers. We had between 200 and 300 viewers watching. So if you are missing out, guys, even our weekend shows, even our midweek shows this last week was crazy. I'm changing the word there. You thought I was going to say it.
You're welcome.
It was a mad week for streaming, guys. So I will put my TikTok link below this. There's also going to be like a graphic popping up throughout the show today. Plugging that. But yeah, if you want more, that is the place to be. Logan is over there as a moderator. He sometimes joins in. You can hear his subtitle voice in voice chat. It's a great laugh. So yeah, moving on. Obviously, we've spoke about AJ Styles after Dom. We've spoke about Judgment Day holding 5 titles. Obviously, let's talk a little bit about Evolution. From Raw, because obviously all the shows have matches coming up for Evolution. Rhea EO. My first thoughts on this, and it's a question I've already discussed with you, so you know this is coming.
Yeah.
This match, prior to this, the hints were we were going to get Liv EO. Obviously, Liv being out long term. Rhea coming in, obviously fitting the space, saying, well, if that's what you want, EO, you can have it. Like, acting all innocent, saying, well, I mean, if it's what you want, yeah, but I'm not going to be sorry for what I'm going to do in the ring. Do you feel like Rhea EO has been forced in any way? Do you feel like it's coming across in a forced attitude, a forced technique? Or do you feel like it's actually going to be a very, very good match to watch?
You can't deny it. It's going to be a great match to watch.
Definitely.
It's so forced to the point where, because you've got your big name at Will Morgan, you needed another big name there. But I would have loved to see, give Asuka that match. Asuka versus EO. That would have been something special. Or give it to an up-and-comer on the Raw brand, like Ivy Nile.
Ivy Nile would be a good push.
As much as Evolution is a PLE, it's not a story-based PLE.
It's
showing off the women's division.
Which, rightfully so, they deserve.
To show off your up-and-comers and people like Ivy Nile that don't get the appreciation they deserve on the brand.
Definitely. I think Evolution's going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to the Rhea EO match myself. At this moment, guys, unless there's a video gone out before this has gone up on YouTube, I haven't confirmed any watch-alongs for next weekend. I will be getting a video out during the week confirming whether there will be one or what shows, because we've got 3 big events coming up this weekend. It's a long weekend again. But yeah, moving on to the next show. We're going in show order of the week. NXT. There's not so much to talk about NXT today. However, and I say however, there were some very, very big moments that could change the storylines and could hint at what's going to happen in the future for the brand of NXT. So, where should we get started, Logan? Let's start somewhere where you think the viewers want to hear about NXT first.
Well, I feel like me being Scottish. Do we start off with Joe Hendry? Just got to keep that Scottishness in here, you know.
Right, fine, let's do it. Obviously, Joe Hendry, Wesley, NXT. What did you take on that match? Obviously, you watched NXT as we do every week. Obviously, the tension is still building between Joe Hendry and Trick Williams. Obviously, Trick Williams taking the TNA title away from TNA into NXT and WWE. What are your thoughts of that match overall?
I mean, you can't deny Wesley, Joe Hendry, two of the best performers on their brands. And obviously, after the match, we had Mike Santana come out from TNA as well. Does this possibly lead to maybe Slammiversary? Also talking TNA there. Fatal 4-way match.
Shout out to TNA live on GEO'S Grapple. You know that's a good week when TNA get mentioned.
Oh, you got to mention them. But a fatal 4-way match between those four competitors at Slammiversary for the TNA title. Is that where it leads to now? Obviously, Wesley's trying to wiggle his way in there. You got Mike Santana, who's had a match with Trick Williams. Do we see a fatal 4-way?
Oh, good shout. I would pay money to watch that match. I don't care if it's on Netflix. I'd want to see. That's the sort of match you want to see in person when we talk NXT or TNA. That is the sort of match that is a fail or change the future of a brand worthy match. I'd rightfully put that up there with some of the biggest WrestleMania moments. And that, in my opinion, that would be a stand and deliver worthy match. But we'll obviously see it a lot sooner than stand and deliver.
I don't think we're going to see Trick hold the title till stand and deliver. Like,
we saw Wesley dominate parts of the match. We also saw Joe Hendry pull off one of the cleanest clotheslines pretty much ever. That was amazing. He did his little turn around and stare at Trick Williams, who was on commentary during that match. That leads on to, does Trick Williams lose the TNA title anytime soon? Because in episode 2, or in one of the previous episodes, we spoke about it, about the main roster. I think it was episode 2 last week. We spoke about Trick Williams come up to main roster.
Yeah, episode 1.
Does Trick Williams lose that title to, and it'll move on to the next one, our new number 1 contender for the NXT title, or do we see Obafemi lose to Inamura? So I'm kind of middling up here because I want to kind of get your brain ticking. I want to get your mind going with all these different matches. Do we see Trick Williams lose to Joe Hendry? Or do we see Obafemi lose the NXT title and then go for Trick Williams? Because either of those are going to be great matches.
Oh, 100%. See, I don't think Joe Hendry even gets the TNA title. I think the TNA title goes to Mike Santana.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you there because if you could, I don't think you'll pick it up. I'm right by my balcony door and it is like, I know I insulted you at the beginning of this episode, but you didn't have to send the Scottish weather down here. Of course it's gonna be like this. It's F1 weekend at Silverstone. It's of course. We have thunderstorm warnings down here all day, guys. So I do apologise if there are any technical glitches during the recording. I should have put that warning at the beginning, but yeah. But yeah, carry on. you don't believe Joe Hendry's going to win that TNA title?
No, I think. Also, we've seen almost a little bit of tension between Mike Santana and Joe Hendry. So I
Okay.
think they'll have a match maybe in a couple weeks at TNA. Have that number one contender. Maybe they have a double pin, something like that. Make it a triple threat match.
Okay.
Or Wesley gets himself involved.
I mean,
and
we
Mike
saw
Santana wins that title.
we saw a draw on Raw last week. We're not going to talk about it. It's disappointing. That's setting up for a triple threat. So you're thinking similar fashion when it comes to the TNA Championship, are we?
Yeah, we're going to have a multi-man match, and Mike Santana takes the title. Because he's proven himself lately that he is championship worthy. And we know that Joe Hendry, at the end of this contract, he is leaving TNA to come to WWE. So it's how long does he have? And where does he fit in now?
Okay, nice intake of the TNA Championship, and it's always nice to talk a little bit about TNA here on the podcast. Doesn't get spoken about enough. And I'm going to take this opportunity. We need another TNA game. We need a new TNA video game.
Yeah.
Anyone who's old enough to have grown up with, I think it was PS3 and Xbox 360, I want to say, is the TNA game what came out. That, growing up, other than WWE games, was probably my most played game ever. And I think it's time. I think it's time we had another TNA game.
It's also time for TNA to come back to the UK with a PLE.
Oh, that would be absolutely, like... I don't know if my mind could take TNA coming back over here. Because it's been a while. TNA stay a lot. TNA seem to stay a lot in the States at the moment. So to have a TNA, even anywhere in Europe, a TNA show in Europe would be crazy. I'd be very up for that. And moving on, talking away from video games, because we won't bore you guys with video games, because not everyone here plays the video games. But you should. Inamura, our new NXT number one contender, who will go on to face Obafemi for the NXT Championship. When that match Inamura Jasper was announced, everyone kind of like raised an eyebrow at that match. They were like, hang on a minute, really? But having watched the match, wow. Like, Inamura and Jasper Troy being able to hit some of those moves on each other. Their dynamic and the ability they both had via like their chemistry in the ring was great. Wasn't the best match by far, but it was a very, very fun watch. Not just for NXT fans, but for wrestling fans overall. Like I've been saying, next week is a very big weekend for wrestling overall. Not just WWE. For any brand. We talk all wrestling here. Let's be honest. We're wrestling fans at the end of the day. And a real wrestling fans, I'm going to make some people very, very upset and salty here. I'm going to be honest. Real wrestling fans don't just watch WWE. Like you and myself, we watch TNA. We also dip our toes into watching AEW. I've mentioned it. A lot of you guys don't like it when I talk about AEW, but I'm going to bring it up. That is literally what the chat is. But there comes a point where you've got to understand real wrestling fans don't just watch one show. They don't just watch one brand.
Yeah. It all comes down to the end of the day. If
it
you
doesn't...
watch WWE, all your favourites have gone to AEW anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. And they've either made their career or ruined their career. But that's for individual fans with their opinions. But yeah, big show. We've got NXT and WWE. We've got Saturday night main event. We've got Great American Bash. We've got All In. It's a very, very big week for wrestling fans all over the world. So I kind of want to try, I want this podcast not only to be bringing in you guys as WWE fans, I want you guys to be wrestling fans, because wrestling isn't just one show. Wrestling is New Japan. It's Rev Pro, it's WAW, it's the indie scene, it's talking about things like BCW and like AAA, TNA, the list goes on. and there is so much talent that WWE fans haven't heard of, primarily because they only watch WWE. Like Hikuleo Talatonga coming into WWE. A lot of my chat when he debuted was like, "Who's he?" I was like, "Guys, come on, come on." He's had such a good run over in New Japan, and New Japan, if anything, is the one you guys should be keeping up on. New Japan is crazy, and some of your WWE favorites have come from New Japan. But yeah, little chat about that over. Just you guys need. I want you guys to go and watch something. That's your challenge for this episode, guys. Go and watch a wrestling show that you haven't watched either ever or for a very long time. I recommend New Japan, even if you watch some videos of it on YouTube. Logan's thinking about recommending someone else.
Well, no, I'm just thinking about some other shows. Like, there's obviously, like, South Africa has such a good wrestling scene down there.
Mm-hmm.
And some ex-WWE stars have actually performed there and won titles.
Mm-hmm.
Going back years, you can go, like, Caitlyn. Since the second she left WWE, she was in South Africa performing, where she was a champion for 912 days.
Exactly. Now we've had that little chat. Now we've kind of like spoke about the whole like international scene of wrestling, which is quite nice to talk about, to be fair. Let's finish off our NXT segment of this show with the one and only Miles Bourne, Randy Orton's son, as some people used to say, like to say. I love that because every time I see Miles Bourne on TV now, I'm just like, hey, do the RKO. But Miles Bourne defeating Lexus King last week on NXT. I'm starting to become a very, very big fan of Miles Bourne. Despite having the impairment, he is phenomenal in the ring. He's phenomenal on the mic. His promos are great. And the joke of him being Randy Orton's son fits in so well because his ability in the ring is just crazy. And one day, I do, without a doubt, expect him to be, in fact, a legend killer. We spoke about him fighting against Randy Orton before we opened up the podcast today.
We did indeed.
When the time comes, do you believe Randy Orton should, and I'm not going to say would, I'm going to say should, because I'm going to put the idea out there. Should Randy Orton have his final retirement match against Miles Bourne to put Miles Bourne over as a WWE champion?
I mean, you already know I've said that I'd love that match to happen. It's also that thing of they wrestle so alike that it would work. And again, it's that rookie legend match. That legend helping the rookie get over.
Mm-hmm.
That would make it so amazing. And as you said, Miles is great in promos, Randy is great in promos. That would be a moment in the middle of that ring with them going off one in promos.
All right, yeah. So I think we both agree Miles Bourne, future WWE champion by far. And I'm kind of hoping we see him on the main roster sooner than later because he deserves it. Especially while Randy Orton, someone with such similar ability and clearly inspired by the legend killer, Mr. RKO. I think we definitely need to see him while Randy Orton's still within the WWE.
Yeah, because I don't even, as much as Randy probably wants to have lots of time still left with the injuries he's got right now, I don't think we've got much longer with the legend killer.
Right, guys, haven't spoken about Raw and NXT. We've got SmackDown segment coming up, but we're going to use this part of the show to answer some questions. Now, last week we answered that at the end of the show. I'm going to bring it in to pretty much the middle of the show this week, and I believe, before we get onto the Discord and TikTok questions, our very own guest, Logan, has one or two questions that he wants me to answer live on the show. So, over to you, Mr. Scottish man.
What chaos could I cause?
I don't know, but as soon as you said that, it thundered, so I'm going to call you 4 from now on.
Right, so there's 2 questions, so I'll go with the first one. Why did you decide to make WWE gaming the focus of your content on your channel?
I think it's primarily just from like my childhood, growing up, playing video games, playing WWE games especially, because let's be honest, I'm asked that question every week in my TikToks. Oh, what was your first ever WWE game, or what's your favourite game? And I have to go back to like the GameCube or PS2 when it's like the WrestleMania game on GameCube, or if it's like SmackDown Here Comes the Pain or Just Bring It. You know very well I've played WWE games my whole life. I was also born into a family that was a massive wrestling family. Not wrestling, massive family who's in wrestling, but fans of wrestling. And being born in the same city as like Paige and Saraya, her family with WAW in the same city, massive like, inspiration, I'd say, to myself. Obviously, future me would obviously, or childhood me, either way, would have loved to be in the ring, or even just like train in a wrestling academy. And we know I've been offered this opportunity. It's just not right for me at the moment, considering certain circumstances going on in my life. But yeah, gaming has always obviously been something I've done. I used to play random games, streaming 1 to 5 viewers. Now with WWE 2K25, I'm anywhere from 50 viewers on a bad day to 400 or 500 viewers pretty much daily now. So yeah, I think that's the main reason I play it, is just because I've grown up being surrounded by wrestling in such a positive way.
Yeah. And then the other one fits into what we're recording right now. And it's, what was the inspiration and what made you want to do a podcast?
What made me want to do the podcast is probably just because I've always been good at speaking. I've always been good at talking to people. I've always been good at public talking in groups, and like a leadership sort of role. So I wanted to kind of put that into my extend my content to be able to talk to people. And obviously, it's great to have you open up obviously the podcast series with me. Obviously, the end goal, the end goal is interviewing WWE stars, WWE legends, WWE management, anything, or not even just WWE, wrestling in general. Any names like The Dream, like John Cena, Randy Orton, even like Nick Aldis. He's obviously got so much to talk about outside of WWE. Obviously, living just down the coming from just down the road from me. It's just a crazy dream of me to have that ability to travel the world and be known as someone who interviews WWE or even just records content with WWE personnel. It's just a massive dream, I'd say, of mine to be able to do. Because imagine being able to sit here in a year's time, we're still recording it, but like for episode 100 of GEO'S Grapple, if it's successful enough to reach that. And I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming on to GEO'S Grapple episode 100. For the 100th episode, we've got The Undertaker, or we've got, I don't know, anyone. Just like, imagine being able to say that, opening up a show on YouTube to not just like 100 views, but to 100,000 or 500,000 views. Just the dream's out there, and dreams are supposed to be caught and made. So I'd say that's the main reason why I have to make this series.
Awesome. Perfect.
Awesome. And haven't answered those 2 questions. I believe we've got a few. We haven't got loads, but we've got a few questions to answer. I'm going to get my phone for the Discord for this, because we've got both Discord and TikTok. Okay, so I'm going to answer your question first, because I've just seen you put a question in there. So 3 questions from you. Bloody hell. Greedy, all right. If you could have anyone on the podcast, who would it be and why? I would probably say Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
just because Shawn Michaels, because obviously he's my favourite wrestler of all time. He inspired me to grow up loving wrestling, and he's pretty much my main inspiration as to why I would love to be in the ring myself. I've just got to try and put meat on these bones a little bit and get through a few obstacles, and maybe, you never know, I could be hitting a sweet chin music on someone one day. Other than that, Paige, aka Soraya, obviously just being from my home city, it'd be crazy just to have a homegrown talent on here and someone who I've admired growing up in wrestling. I hope that answers that good enough. But moving on, Alex asks in the Discord as well, who do you want to win the Evolution Battle Royale? In my opinion, this is a very easy answer for me. Even though they may not even obviously be announced in there, I've got two. One who's more likely to appear than the other. Now, the one who's likely to appear more than the other is Sol Ruka, my favourite female talent on NXT. I would love for Sol Ruka to do that, and that's just caught you off guard because you weren't expecting that.
Yeah, that's big like that.
You were expecting me to say Stephanie Bakir, and she would be a close second. However, a hot take, and I'm going to keep saying this, Logan, you know I say this at every single PLE, every single event. Please, Paige, return at Evolution. We need to see it. We need to hear that scream, the music hit, and a video of me flying out of my chair for a live reaction.
I mean, she has teased that. She has teased that.
She has. Who would your take be? Who would you want to see win in the Evolution Battle Royale?
I mean, if I'm going off return legend, I want to see someone like Melina return.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Because if Melina was to win it as a legend return and say, yes, we don't want Naomi as champion, but if Naomi wins the title, then at Clash at Paris, the battle of that kind of skill.
Okay, so you're going with Melina for your hot take. Imagine that. Yeah. Okay, so now we move on to our TikTok ones. And I've had a question asked while we've been recording as well. So this could actually be all right. We've got a few on there now. Okay, so let's just pause the video and ask some questions. Reese asks, do you think Sami Zayn will win the next Royal Rumble as it is in Saudi Arabia? He's got a point.
He has got a point.
I do not think he's going to win the Royal Rumble next year.
I think he'll be a world title match at Royal Rumble.
I think he'll be in the championship picture. But
yeah.
Long story short, while I'm trying to listen to you over the thunder outside, I do not believe Sami Zayn's going to be winning the Royal Rumble next year. As for who I think's going to win the Royal Rumble, I don't know. I have no clue. I would like to see the final three include at least one NXT current roster superstar.
Oh, my final three I've got sorted already.
Go for it. You answer your final three.
So, one of my final three is going to be entering from number one. I want Finn Balor, Obafemi, and a returning, maybe debuting, Tama Tonga.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And there were hints that Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa might not be together anymore as a tag team, because in Solo's episode, little segment, he said, my family is complete. Yeah. So is he not looking to bring anyone else in? We never know. But good question, Reese. Thank you very much. This one's for you from Aaron Boy 2, or Aaron Boy with two Y's, 2. Will Drew ever win a world title again? And my answer straight off the bat, as Logan does that, because I want to interrupt the little yes, and he will hold it for roughly about 30 to 40 seconds.
Wow.
In honesty, I do think Drew McIntyre holds the title again. As for what, I don't know what title, but I would like to see, obviously, what he wants to do, Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the Undisputed Championship.
Yeah, I feel like it's a match we need to see again. And it's figuring out where they're going to put it on the card. and of what show. Because I do not want to see that match happen. As good as it would be at Clash at Paris, I don't want to see it there.
Okay.
I think save it till they go to Australia. I know that'd make you happy. But Drew McIntyre got a decent reception there.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes gets a great reception wherever he goes.
Yep. And the Aussies just like to have fun, so it'll be great to have some banger matches there. And yeah, I think that is everything for questions today. Thank you very much for anyone. There were more questions, however, I feel like they're the ones what fit into this episode most. Right, guys, moving on to the final show of the week. We got SmackDown. Plenty happened. Logan, first off the bat, where would you rate it out of the 3 shows this week? Would you say it was the best show? Or
Yeah, I'd say SmackDown was probably the best show of the week. It's been my show of the week since we've done the podcast, it's been my show of the week every week.
it has had a solid cast and a solid show or performance throughout the last couple of weeks, at least. Let's get into a very good talking point there. I know you're a little bit, we clash on this a little bit, is the newest tag team on the roster. Andrade and Rey Fenix. Obviously, they had a match against Fraxium. They defeated Fraxium, and I know very well you don't really like this new tag team, but you love Fraxium.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't too happy with the result. However, this is where we clash. I actually thought Andrade and Rey Fenix performed very well as a tag team. So I want your thoughts. Don't go into too much detail, because subtitles will definitely be needed at that point. But what did you think of, not the match, but the new tag team of Andrade and Rey Fenix?
Well, I get that they work well together. Yes, we can sit here and talk forever about how great they were in that match. But I don't feel like SmackDown need another tag team to add on to the chaos that they've already got in that tag team division.
So, obviously, you're saying SmackDown's, in my opinion, from what you've said and what I believe, is they've finally listened to we need a better tag division overall in WWE. There are some great tag teams. However, they definitely need to do more. Yes, they are compromising with some tag teams. However, the chaos that has unfolded over the last 2 weeks, in my opinion, has been such a fun watch. As a viewer and as a WWE fan, just the chaos, the carnage, and big shout to them putting Wyatt Six in this chaos as well, because Wyatt Six, like, their performance was great, and it's so nice to see them as well. Another listening point from the creative team, they're obviously listening because Wyatt Six are getting more television time. But yeah, the chaos is good. Tag team division definitely is growing. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be fun to watch? Yes, because tag team wrestling is always fun to watch, in my opinion. But yeah, the tag team of Andrade, Rey Fenix, 50-50, I'd say, with viewer reactions. Personally, I enjoyed it. More tag team action, obviously, Chris Sabin being sacrificed by Johnny Gargano to the Wyatt Six. Your opinions, Logan?
I think it works so well in the story. Honestly, DIY are the ringleaders.
Oh, definitely.
And they're trying to now, almost, it feels like, pull themselves away from it all. So it's nice to see kind of who are they going to sacrifice next.
Is it kind of like a heel move, would you say, from DIY there? Or would you say it's them just being DIY, considering they've created pretty much all of this mess?
I think it's almost a bit of both. We need DIY. They work the best as a face, but when that tag team is heel, there's no stopping them. And I think it sets up for, we talked about this last week, a mega match at SummerSlam with this tag division.
That'd be phenomenal. I've said it again, phenomenal. But I think WrestleMania needs tag team action.
Yes.
Especially with what we saw with that TLC match after the last WrestleMania.
Yeah, that should have been the Mania match, not War Raiders New Day. So
yeah, that should have been swapped round, and hopefully they've learnt their lesson. They seem to be listening a little bit. So
they listen to us.
WWE creative and production.
You're welcome for SmackDown.
Put me and Logan on SmackDown and we'll beat their asses. But yeah, hopefully they're listening. I hope they're listening to the WWE Universe, because we need tag team action at WrestleMania. That TLC match was great, and it deserved to be at WrestleMania itself. And like you said, instead of the New Day War Raiders. Other things in SmackDown, we had obviously Jacob Solo, and then we had the segment with a return of Drew McIntyre. Let's start things off with Jacob and Solo. Jacob versus Solo again. The feud carried on. It opened the show with Jacob attacking Solo before he was even out of his car. And then it ended with Jacob being put through a table after being ambushed 4-on-1 yet again. Do you think this is a feud going, and you know where I'm going with this, do you think this is a feud leading to a return of Roman Reigns and concluding in War Games?
I think as much as the Bloodline stuff's great, but it's been heavily overdone now to the point where the fans are still there for it, but they're not there for it. We've had Bloodline for what, 50 years now?
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting to the point where I feel like some fans are just like, this is what we're expecting now.
Yeah.
I think we need to see some fresh stuff happen. I want to see that War Games match to culminate it. But do we see the teams that we're expecting to see?
Maybe not. You know my thing, my thoughts on it, but I'm not going to say what. I'm not going to give that away to the viewers until closer to Survivor Series. We've got a lot of other events happening between now and then. Obviously, Solo Sikoa, in the segment, he had all of his guys behind him in his family, what he's calling it now, saying his family's complete. So maybe we don't see Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga team up again, like we mentioned earlier in the show. Can we just say how big Tonga Loa has returned? Like he's muscle and his body mass. He's transformed, and that's where I believe they've transformed his character to a solo run. Because just in that time he had off, his body muscle and his weight, it's like he looks even more of a wrestler now, and it's great. It's good to see.
He looks like a different person now when he's in the ring.
Definitely. And that now leads on to the last point of what we're going to talk about in today's show, and that is obviously not because you're Scottish, so get that grin off your face. A returning Drew McIntyre confronting Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, and arguably with one of the best RKO sells in recent years. So yeah. I'll let you take the reins on this this part of the show, because obviously it's your homeboy Drew McIntyre. So let's go. Let's talk about it.
Nobody was really expecting Drew to come back. There's not a lot of rumors or anything, but I do find it quite funny. You put that TikTok up, and then he's back.
Anyone who hasn't seen that TikTok, go check TikTok. You'll get it.
So it's refreshing having him back, and I love that he's really playing on the board at work with his new merch.
Oh, it's great. I need it. I need to get that shirt. Anyone who doesn't know, I posted a TikTok of a scene from Ted where he takes a picture of someone and then goes, let me post this on Twitter or Facebook, and he goes, #Grr Mondays. So just taking having a laugh at Drew McIntyre's board at work character gimmick.
Wait, hang on. I gotta post this on Facebook. No! #Grr Mondays.
But yeah, saying he wants Cody to win the Undisputed Championship. Randy Orton saying he wants Cody to win it because he wants it next. but now Drew getting involved. Are we going to see a triple threat? Just yes or no, are we going to see a triple threat?
Yes.
That match is going to be mental. I'm going to be all down for that match. But if we see that triple threat, when does it happen?
Oh,
Because that means that John Cena loses the Undisputed Championship at SummerSlam, which is my prediction. It's been my prediction since WrestleMania. I'll stick to that prediction that he loses at SummerSlam.
Did we
But
see it at the end of that month at Clash of Paris?
something big's got to happen at Clash of Paris. There always is something big for the European crowds.
But then it's also that thing of, do we maybe see Seth Rollins, CM Punk at Clash at Paris? No matter which of the two of their matches you get, you've got the crowd reaction behind it.
Definitely.
Which is the main thing.
So, I'm not even going to say, are you happy that Drew's back? Because I know the answer, and I think all the viewers know the answer because your smile, the smile on your face. Massive, massive week across the whole board, NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. So, July 12th, we've got NXT's Great American Bash, moving then later in the night, going on to Saturday night main event. And then the following day, 24 hours later, we have Evolution 2, which is WWE's all-women's PLE. 3 great shows coming up, guys. If you don't normally watch NXT shows, definitely do give it a watch. Even if you just watch parts of it or just tune in to see what's happening on it. Or if I'm live at the time, come check me out on TikTok. Logan might even be there for some watch-alongs or live reactions with me to have a laugh. Potentially, nothing's confirmed yet. Go follow the TikTok channel for notifications on any new videos and updates where that comes around. But for UK viewers, Great American Bash starts at roughly 8 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
So 8 p.m. roughly. Saturday, it might be different. We'll get a confirmation on the video. I'm pretty certain it is 8 p.m.
Usually it's 8 p.m.
And then around about midnight, 1 a.m., we'll have Saturday Night Main Event, which I believe is on Peacock and YouTube. And then we also 24 hours later on Sunday night, going into Monday morning for us in the UK, have Evolution. So that is a bit more of a narrow explanation on the PLE start areas for you guys and days, because obviously time zones are everywhere. Some people still struggle to understand time zones. But cheers. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is episode 3 of GEO'S GRAPPLE podcast with myself, me, and Logan Fleming. And I'm sure you'll see plenty more of Logan, either whether it's in the streams or live reactions or in future episodes of GEO'S GRAPPLE. But thank you so much for everyone who's watching. 3 episodes in, you guys have been great. It's great to be able to do this every weekend for your guys' faces. Whether it gets 50 views or 5,000 views, I'm happy with whatever. It's building a good series and a strong future for me and my content. Majority of content, guys, over on TikTok 5 days a week, 9 p.m. UK BST. If you don't see me over there, you'll see me every Monday here, 6 p.m. UK BST. So that's all for us, guys. Logan, I'll let you send out the troops today with the ending. Let's go.
Stay safe. Stay awesome.